why does Alex Pereira want to fight Jon Jones? Have you ever thought about that? Now, I love the match. I respect the call out. But let's just stand back for a second. Why does Alex Pereira want to fight Jon Jones? I don't believe anybody's ever wanted to fight Jon Jones. I realize you'll find a couple of people that said it. I don't believe them. I don't believe those people. Now, Jon Jones, for a large period of his career, if you were to go to something such as Google and just see, has anybody called out Jon Jones? All right, fair enough, you'll find some yeses, but we can also then quickly understand that had to do with world championships. That had to do with main events, that had to do with paydays. There was a lot of things that you packaged that you actually wanted, that you named Jon Jones. The one piece of the deal you actually didn't want was to fight Jon Jones. So I'm just telling you, I think that Alex Pereira might be the first person to ever call out Jon Jones. Where I actually think they want to fight Jon. This isn't about a main event. This isn't about Madison Square Garden. This isn't about pay-per-view points and legacy. And they actually want to fight Jon Jones. X's and O's, my skills versus your skills. Just so we know. Just so we can go on through this journey known as life and have the answer to this question. Can I beat you or can you beat me? I mean, it is extremely honorable. But why does Alex Pereira want to fight Jon Jones? Don't tell me money. Pereira's rich. Pereira has the #1 contract in the UFC. I don't count Conor because Conor's not currently licensed. Just so you know, Pereira has the #1 contract. Before Pereira had that, the highest paid fighter was Israel Adesanya. And within that mix is Sean O'Malley. And I'm just sharing with you in case you're interested in those types of things. The most beautiful contract was Adesanya's. Aside from McGregor, then came O'Malley, and then Pereira got in the mix somewhere, and here we are. And so we move money out. Everybody wants money. You want more money. I get it, but let's just move money out. Like whatever Pereira does next. And by the way, fighting Jon Jones collectively compared to whatever else Pereira can do, it's not as substantial of a difference as one might think. So let's move money out because we understand he's going to get money either way. There's no title. There's no belt. So the idea of prestige or long-standing prestige, if we look at this from 20 years from now, we've got to come back and we're going to explain this to a group of people. Like, they're not fully going to appreciate it the way that we will all get it because it's going to be hard for us to explain the story because there's not a belt. Just makes it a little bit harder. Not to mention, whose career would have you rather had? These guys are extremely close. They both got belts from different divisions. They both got arguments to the greatest of all time. But we don't have to argue. There is a way to find out. There is a way to take two guys with these big, beautiful arguments, put them in the cage, and now we don't have to wonder. And it largely is what is so admirable about Pereira's call-out, is that it's not about the money. As a matter of fact, it's not about the title. He's got a title. Jon does not have a title. Jon is the one asking, can I come back? Can we make nice? Something was mentioned about a White House. Something was mentioned about Aspinall. Can we get those conversations back and going? I think if you do Jones versus Pereira, I think if you can get that fight, you get that fight to the ring. That's what I think. However you can get that fight and you can get it into the ring, you do. But if you want to talk about cherry on the Sunday, I think you do the fight, you do it 205 pounds. That's what I think. Jon can make 205 pounds. That is merely a question of, would you, the audience, accept Jon 205 pounds without doing the whole you're scared, you didn't want to fight at heavyweight? Like, if we can just avoid that as a community, I think you get Jon to 205 pounds. Now, whatever Jon is to do in this moment, he gets a full pass. Jon can accept that fight with Pereira. He can deny that fight with Pereira. He can accept that fight at a specific location, at a specific weight class, and 1 week later, he can take the whole thing back. Jon is in a period of grieving, and it would probably be best, to just stay out of it for a minute. Jon's been very gracious. He acknowledged Pereira's win. He acknowledged that Pereira had said his name. He acknowledged that Pereira had given a moment of silence to his brother, and he stayed out. He didn't talk about fighting and competing, and we all understand that. Now, if that was to change tonight, we still would show Jon grace. He can go forward, he can go backwards. He gets this period. But why would Pereira want to fight Jon Jones? It would seem as though you could argue, I am the champion of the world and you're not. We fought at the same time. It would seem as verbally you could argue, and that seems to be historically the way guys prefer to do it. It's annoying. It's frustrating as a fan. It's frustrating, the carrot that you have to dangle in front of top guys to go out and compete in a sport that they swear they love. And every now and then you get a guy like Pereira. I just, for all the things that I think are cool about him, why does he want to fight Jon Jones? Might be the thing that I find the coolest. The top. A legit, true competitor who legitimately, behind the fame and the money and the cameras, wants to know, am I better than you or are you better than me? I can live with the outcome. I don't want to have to live with the wonder. It's you or it's me. Life moves on either way. But I don't want to be under contract with you at the same time in this era with an ability to get to the ring, whatever that ability is. If it means I've got to come to your weight class, if it means you're coming to mine, if it means there's no belt or I got to put up my belt, whatever the stakes, let's get this to the ring. And it is such an honorable thing. It is where this sport started. It is where every single athlete who gets a contract and celebrates and sends a picture of the guy and asks Dana for a photo and Instagrams it out and, hey mom, and we won and we celebrate and everything's great. And then a little bit of time later, they turn the gun. They decide they don't want to do it so more. I'm valuable. I created this. It's me versus you instead of us going together. That's just the journey. That's just the way that it works. With every single athlete that's ever tasted any level of success, the very first thing that they want to do is to retire. I mean, the very first thing they'll start talking about is legacy. The very first thing that they will truly feel inside is, I have done enough. And I can't recall a time of an athlete of this magnitude ever that all he wants to do is put it on the line. That all he wants to do is test everything. Why would Alex Pereira want to fight Jon Jones? Everybody else that said they wanted to fight Jon wanted something else. Why does Alex Pereira want to fight Jon Jones? Jon doesn't have a title. Jon is not the champion. Aspinall is the champion. The winner of Aspinall versus Surreal, if you're moving into a weight class and you have one golden wish, it seems like that's the thing that everybody would wish for. That's the chip and that's the card that every single person would play. But Pereira wants Jon Jones. Why? does Alex Pereira want to fight Jon Jones?